there is no closure to this matter. I think this news came when we were in the second month of lockdown. So people at that time were reflecting on life, and at that time, when Sushant's news came, people connected with him as an idea. And I know so many people who have not seen any Sushant's film, but they see Sushant as an idea which is of somebody who's an outsider. Then the entire elite club will gang up against him or her, and they'll destroy the career and in this case life. So it became more like oppressor versus oppressed kind of narrative in a very modern Gen Z way. I think there are lots of things came together, and that's what has kept the legend of Sushant alive. Unless and until the authorities, by authority I mean the highest courts, do not put a full stop to this, this will remain a part of conversation. There will be doubts. I made a film called The Tashkent Files, which was on Lal Bahadur Shastri. It was based on Right to Truth. And the same question I raised there also. That okay, it doesn't matter at this point of time whether he died of heart attack or it was an assassination. If it was a heart attack, wonderful, I'll be the happiest person, because at least I would know that nobody else conspired and killed the Prime Minister of this country. But then at least put an end to it. But then the governments of the day, the courts of the day, they do not conclude, because they are also tried in media. So media has become the real court, and media loves to keep this conversation going on. See, I'm also an outsider, and not only me, there are thousands and thousands of people in this industry who are outsiders, and all of them share the same feeling. And it's exactly like the feeling of isolation. It's a feeling of ridicule. It's a feeling of, because you do not belong to this elite club, we won't let you survive. It's not a level playing field. It's so different if you come from the elite club. If you are born there, or you are part of that, or you are part of their darbars and their sycophant clubs, If you are not one of those, and if it's not a give and take relationship, then you are not there. See, so many people die by suicide, but then perhaps his aura, his vibes, and the kind of things people got to know about him, people connected with it. And especially the middle class families, because their children are also outside and they also suffer from these things. And he was a very sharp, intelligent person. I knew him very well. In fact, when I used to be in Bollywood and I made my last film, Hate Story, he was the hero. We had signed him for the role which finally Gulshan Devaiya did, So we had taken him. At that time also he was going through that same problem. He was doing some TV serial, very famous TV serial, I don't know, Pavitrishta or something like that. It was very famous and he was a star on TV. And his contract was over, we signed him. But then those producers found one small clause that they will have the first right of refusal or something like that. And they said, you cannot, we are going for extension and you have to do it for 6 months. Just a day before, they had told him, before we got him on, that this contract was over. And it was over. And he was not bound to do it. But then they found a clause and extended. And they said, okay, we will, if you do that, we'll blacklist you and we'll never let you work with us again. Young boy, 23-year-old, 24-year-old, I don't know, but he was very young. Imagine. At that time when he was doing TV, and then finally he had to drop out. And then he continued with that for some time. Then after that, which was over, then he found Kai Poche. So people go through this. Isn't this oppression? You are using just because a person is not as powerful as you. This is what outsiders have to go through. But if you are a star son, then pissing you off, rubbing you off, oppressing you means oppressing the star, and you don't have the guts to do that. So therefore these are privileged kids. Nobody dares speak to them the way they speak to an outsider. They dare isolate. There are so many actors and actresses who have given rows and rows of flops, but still they are treated like stars, they are featured everywhere, they are stars. They are invited to every single party because they are not inviting them, they are inviting the star or their family. But the outsiders like me don't have that privilege. The outsiders like Sushant didn't have that privilege. In one day, he was thrown out. If talent had mattered, then every year we would have produced so many talented actors. Why there is so much of dearth of actors? Now there is dearth of writers, and writers are almost negligible. And there is dearth of directors also. And there is a dearth of some good producers also. There are no character actors left in this industry anymore. There used to be villains, there used to be people who fit into fathers and uncles and mothers, and there are people who fit into police inspectors. There are different, and comedians, there are different kinds of characters, and there was no dearth of them. See, it's all a game of value system. There is an industry which believes that the most important part to be successful in Bollywood is that you are attached to glamour, to kind of a charisma, to kind of a stardom, to money, and there is another one which believes no, film has to be great, story has to be good, acting has to be good. So outsiders generally are middle class boys and girls, and they come with this kind of desire and ambition, to be part of that creative process. But these people are not interested in creative process. They are enjoying the perks of being successful in Bollywood. So there is a clash of ideology, clash of objectives between these middle class aspiring filmmakers and actors and the people who are already established and their families have been there, or they are part of this club. It's like anywhere else, in the world, in any kind of field. And so this is the clash. See, the big problem is that it's very easy to get success, but then it's very difficult to handle success. It's almost impossible to handle success. That's why you see, if you make a list of people who in the first serial or first ad film or first feature film became very successful, there are more and more numbers who could not make it after some time, right? So it's very difficult to handle success, because success, first thing success does is it blocks you from the reality, from the world. And I'm not saying it's a fault of a successful actor or a star. It happens because then the people are so mad about stars that they start jumping at you, they start intruding your privacy, they start, they hold you physically, they say, take selfie. You have to cut yourself off. Then the people around you, they make you feel you are a god or a goddess. So you're totally cut off from the reality, and the moment you are cut off from the reality is like cutting off from sun. If you cut yourself off from sun for a very, very long time, you start going cuckoo in your head, you start going crazy, isn't it? You can't live without sunlight. Similarly, you cannot live without reality, which is the sunlight of your soul, of your whole being. So when they are cut off, they go into kind of a very strange psychic phase. On top of that, there are scientific studies. Who am I to talk about it? There are scientific studies conducted in US in a very large scale. I mean, very frequently these days, the impact of social media on the psyche of people. Okay, in this whole race of validation, this whole race of likes, retweets, or whatever it is, this and the replies, who's replying what, you are trolled, you are so exposed, you are so vulnerable all the times. A little attack, and you go like a hot balloon, you're finished. You think life is not worth living, you think everybody is your enemy, and you just want to destroy yourself, either with drugs or alcohol, bad companies, partying, or by suicide. Suicide is the ultimate. But then lots of people who are living a near suicide life, and those numbers runs into lakhs, not thousands, who are living near suicide life. They are so vulnerable. One attack and shoo. These are scientific studies. The number of attempt to suicide amongst teenagers has increased by some 40-50% in US. And these are reported case in hospital. If it's unreported, suppose somebody is over drugged and then parents don't go to hospital, some things like that, they are not reported, they are reported. So it's very, very high number since social media. And the same thing, I speak to so many actors and they get frustrated that nobody is liking their picture, or they blame, they say. And there's another thing, that casting is done on the basis of your followers. So what people are doing is they are buying fake followers. You can't survive otherwise. So unknown young actors, they have 5 million, 7 million, 8 million followers. These are all bought. So you know that you're living a fake life. So that's the problem. There is so much of pressure to perform on social media that your entire focus is performing on social media and not performing where you are supposed to perform, that is cinema. And that's why Bollywood is dying, because all these stars are so visible, so naked in front of people that there's no charm left. Everything is politicized, religion is politicized, sports is politicized, business is politicized, journalism is politicized. Which part of life in the history of humanity has not been politicized? The only thing is, because the focus is on Bollywood these days, everybody is talking about, sometimes there are sports scam when that Lalit Modi IPL thing happened, everybody was saying sports is politicized. When something Radia tape came up, people were saying that journalism is politicized. So when some industry comes in focus, people say it's always been politicized. Tell me one thing, Amitabh Bachchan was from Congress, official representative. Dharmendra BJP, Javed Akhtar Saab Communist Party, Amjad Khan Communist Party, IPTA, okay, Ramesh Sippy, pure capitalist. All these people came together and made the film. Weren't they political? Whenever there were political issues, Bollywood people always came out with truck rallies. If you remember, huge rallies they used to take out. Sunil Dutt took up All India. Rahul Gandhi is now imitating him. So it was Sunil Dutt who did Kanyakumari to Kashmir, that walk. He walked alone with his daughter. So I think politics was always there. We always made political films. So many political films we have made. In fact, I'm very proud that we have made amazingly great political films. Pre-2000, after that it became very, very less. And there's nothing wrong being political. Films should address politics of the day. The experience in India has revealed that whenever they ban anything, it becomes a discussion amongst the elite of the society, amongst the intellectuals of the society, English newspapers and all those kind of things, but the masses just don't care about it. So therefore it has become a very convenient tool or technique, for the politicians to do this. Yusuf Saab changes his name to Dilip Kumar. That is political. 100% political. It is political because then you are using a name just to reach the masses. Then you are so guilty of your own identity, so therefore creating a new identity for yourself. That is political. Because then you are looking at the audience in terms of religion or acceptability, right? So what I'm saying, it's always been political. Anybody who says that Bollywood was not political doesn't know that we have made only political. What was Diwar? Wasn't it a political film? It was about the trade union. And if it was not political, how come IPTA survived? IPTA was a political art body. Prithviraj Kapoor, Shashi Kapoor, Amjad Khan, A.K. Hangal, Raj Kapoor, all these people, IPTA, Salil Chaudhary and all. I think most of the films, 75-80% of the film should cater to socio-political issues. Nothing can be more powerful and wonderful and effective than cinema to entertain as well as change perceptions or give new idea or a new side of the same story. Three Idiots did it so beautifully. The problem is that people have started using it as a tool and both the parties gain out of it. These people get to consolidate their vote bank, these people get to consolidate their audience. But in the end, this whole drama is because the assumption amongst Bollywood is that audience, they are idiots. And they will come for hype and so much of hype. And let me tell you one thing, okay, it's not just the controversy, in these kind of event films of big huge stars, hundreds of crores of rupees are spent on marketing. Everything is not tangible, there is intangible marketing also. So many corporate brands, they at that time put their hoardings, they put their ads, they run their TV ads and all. There is so much of indirect intangible marketing for them, so much of push. Everybody is paid these days. I mean, by the language, you know, the same thing everybody is writing. So much of money is spent on this, and this hype is very difficult for middle class to escape. It will stop the day a producer, director or filmmaker says, we won't budge. We believe in our film and we have conviction about our film, and do whatever you have to do, we are not going to budge. We'll wait for a year, 2 years, and then we'll release our film. Somebody have to have that guts. I did with Buddha in a Traffic Jam. We made it in 2010. It released in 2016. Everybody knows why it was held up, by who it was held up. It was held up for a very long time. But then I said, no, if I release it, I'll release it only in theatres. So it's very important that the discrepancy between the maker and the product and the film is not too wide. You should also behave like or respect at least what you're making. And that is where I think the whole problem lies. Most of the people, they behave differently, say something else. Behind the screens, they are something else. But on screen, they come and pretend to be someone else. I think that is the problem, because people have seen millions and billions of videos. So human mind has got trained to watch more realistic stuff rather than this fantasy-oriented stuff, which requires hundreds of crores of hype and direct and indirect marketing. People are realizing that you are not what you speak. And this is what the public is really concerned about. It's not that they hate them, but if they start being truthful to their profession, rather than saying कि मैंने तो 30 दिन में ये रोल कर दिया और मेरे लिए तो ये बाएं हाथ का खेल है. People should believe that you are putting a lot of effort, sincerity, and you are doing your job honestly. The minute you do that, you find credibility and you find the same love and respect from the audience. Until then, everything is politics. Welcome to politics.